Hey, so for today's video on EFT, we're going to use anxiety as an example for what we're going to tap on. Um, we know that EFT can tackle a lot of different things, from anxiety and depression all the way to physical pains. Um, but we're going to use anxiety as our example topic. So the first thing that you do before you really get started is you're going to put your hand on your chest, one hand on your chest, one hand on your abdomen, and you're going to breathe for a minute. You breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're just going to kind of center and ground. And as you breathe, you can feel the air go through your chest and all the way down to your abdomen, and your abdomen should expand. So one of the things that we don't do when we're relaxing is we very often don't breathe into our abdomen, and that helps to send signals to our brain that we can't relax, that it's not safe to. And so we're going to kind of work with our brain here and try and send a message that we can relax and it is safe right now. So go ahead and do this for a minute or two. Do it for 3 if it suits you. Yeah, after that, we're going to go ahead and think about our anxiety. And think about on a scale of 1 to 10 when it's bad, like, how bad does it feel? Sometimes it can feel like a 7 or 8. Or, you get towards that panic zone, and that can feel like a 9 or a 10. But so go ahead and think about that, scale it out, write the number down, and then we can go ahead and get started. So we're going to have a few different kinds of statements as options. We're going to have a negative statement or a positive statement. Negative statement with anxiety, and the tense that we're using when we say it is important. So we're going to speak in past tense with a negative statement. So even though I have suffered with anxiety, I deeply and profoundly love myself. Even though I have suffered with anxiety, I deeply and profoundly love myself. And it's okay if you don't feel this way and you don't believe it and you're not there yet. Tell yourself a little story right now. And try and be open to believing this. It's okay if you're not there yet. And part of this is we're sending a signal of we have suffered with anxiety. It's not a problem right now. So we're talking to the brain. Part of what this is. And the positive example would be, I now know that I can feel peaceful and I deeply and profoundly love myself. Or I now know that I can feel peaceful and I deeply and profoundly love myself. So you're going to choose one of those statements, whichever one you're more comfortable with. And you're going to start by tapping about 30 taps on this meaty part on the pinky side. You can use one finger, 2 fingers, the whole hand, kind of whatever feels good to you. I use 2 or 3 usually. And so you're going to start with tapping there, and you're going to do 30 taps, and you're going to say one of those statements 5 times. So I'm gonna do the nice one, or the one that I like better, I like the word peaceful a lot, so I'm going to go with that one. And then when we get to tapping the rest of the points, we're going to switch to our shortened sentence. So if you were going with the negative one, I'll give you an example of what the negative one would look like. So it's the long version of it is, even though I have suffered with anxiety, I deeply and profoundly love myself. And then from there, you would, after saying that 5 times, you would jump up to a point that if you follow the apex of the ear, there's a little bit of a divot if you come up. A little bit of a divot. For some people, it feels a little bit sore. Others, it doesn't. And that's going to be your first tapping point. And so you're going to tap there. Using 2 fingers, tap there about 5-7 times, and say, suffered with anxiety. 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 So just for reference, I'm coming in just a few fingers from the center of the collarbones, sternum notch. Suffered with anxiety. suffered with anxiety. And then we're going to come back here, suffered with anxiety. We're going to do like 20 taps on there, so 15, 20 taps. And yeah, and then you're going to check in and see where you're feeling. So for the positive statement, I was going to do that with the positive statement. Okay, so for the positive statement, I'll show you now. It would be, I now know that I can feel peaceful and I deeply and profoundly love myself. I can feel peaceful. I can feel peaceful. I can feel peaceful. 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 And take a nice deep breath. I already took a breath before I said that, but you can take another nice deep breath. And at that point, you go ahead and scale yourself in and see if that number has changed when you think about your anxiety, and what number you think about, what number you feel when you do go to that place and think about your most anxious times, or a moment that brings up anxiety for you, or a stimulus that brings up anxiety for you. And see where you lie on the scale in comparison to how you did before then. Before tapping. And if you're still at like a 5 or 6 or something like that, go ahead and tap on it again. Do the same sequence. Do your long sentence, short sentence, blah, 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 blah. Short sentence, and scale it in. You might need to do this a few times, and that's totally great and totally okay. Check in on your scale, see where you are. When you get down to like a 2 or a 3, if you feel done, you can go ahead and close out. You can try and get down to a 1 or a 2. I've had that work for me, where I've ended on a 1 or a 2, so it can get that low just by doing this whole tapping and simple sentence rigmarole. The closure technique is referred to as the 9 gamut series, and there's a point, so in between your pinky and your pointer, pinky and ring finger, you come down about halfway, and there's a point right in the webbing there, and we're going to go ahead and tap on that while we go through a sequence of 9 different things. So while you're tapping, you close your eyes for 5 to 7 seconds. Open your eyes for 5 to 7 seconds. Look down and to the right. Back to center. Look down and to the left. 5 to 7 seconds. Back to center. Roll your eyes. And back to center. We're keeping tapping throughout this. Roll your eyes in the other direction. And back to center. And we're going to hum Happy Birthday 5 seconds. And we're going to count out loud, up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And happy birthday. And then something that really seals the deal in and really helps reconnect the brainwaves and help it stick, apparently. I don't know who figured this out. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Don't remember his name, though. Is you look down at the ground, and over a period of about 5 seconds, you're going to go ahead and look up slowly as far as you can. And that's it. That's the sequence. Go ahead. Feel free to ask questions.